video, Kirby.
What's up?
All right. Tell me your first name, your last name. Are you in college too?
No, so my name is Dr. Kirby Lynch. I'm a recent PhD graduate from UC Berkeley's Geography department.
Okay, we are in Vallejo, California for the California Task Force Reparation community listening session. But I'm gonna just say Dr. Kirby. Dr. Kirby said something interesting about Port Chicago, which you all know that I've been doing some research on. Could you please tell us a little bit of knowledge of what you know about Port Chicago since it happened around your hometown?
Oh yeah, like I said, Port Chicago, and particularly the Port Chicago 50, were a group of 50 black men who protested against returning back to work after the U.S. government failed to protect these black soldiers in Port Chicago in Concord, California. Again, Port Chicago was super important for the nuclear weaponry, right? For the very, very explosives that were being sent out to bomb places like Cuba, right? These were black men on the front lines creating that weaponry. And again, the majority of them died in an explosion in July. So again, 2 weeks later, the U.S. government gonna get a whole new group of black men as if those black men didn't even matter. And so again, this is our first Black Lives Matter protest right then and there in August of 1944, when again these black men are leading the Wildcat Strike. Wildcat Strike again is what they call a white boy method, but again these brothers did a Wildcat Strike and they stopped working without permission, didn't get the unions involved, didn't ask for permission. They told them people, we not working, right? And that work stoppage actually led to those black men being dismissed from the military, serving jail time and going on trial. So they were even criminalized for saying they don't want to work in these conditions. And from their actions, this led again to these black men having a whole trial, and they were dismissed, the charges were dropped, and the military was like, okay, just go and get out, right? But it was so important that also led to the desegregation of the military all across the country in 1944 because of the brothers in Vallejo at Mare Island who were protesting the unfair working conditions. So it's super important to me because again, people act like we on a plantation all the time, and also with the wartime industries, that's things like my grandfather worked in, that's how they got their money, and it's like, nah, we need to honor our servicemen and acknowledge that we the reason why everybody gets to have rights in the military.
Why is this so important to say something like the California Task Force Reparations? Why should we share these type of stories? Like I said, once again, in your hometown, your home area, we are in the East San Francisco Bay Area. Why do these type of stories need to come in front of the California Task Force Reparations?
Because again, like the young woman was sharing earlier, we're not acknowledged. There's no recognition of our contribution to this country, to this state. We're basically represented as slaves who were taking work orders from white bosses, and that's just not the full story. We were creators, inventors, machinists, like real people who built this land. And so it's important that we acknowledge it, get the story, so we can get true reparations for our stolen wages and for the lack of, just for the lack we ain't really living how we were supposed to live because we've done so much. So it's important that the task force knows specifically how to think about our contribution because it needs to be acknowledged by the state.
Once again, I'm going to end it on this last question. What does Vallejo, this East Bay city, means to you and the black community?
Vallejo means to me it's the culture, right? It's hyphy culture. Like I said, we lost some really important people in our culture. For one part, Mac Dre. Mac Dre was a huge important part of the hip-hop scene in the Bay Area, and he was assassinated in 2004. And all of these people who we've lost over the years, there's no replacing them. Even when we're thinking about the young people we've lost to police violence, we still feel their presence every single day. Black life matters. And the black life in Vallejo matters, and it seems as if when we die, no one cares. And we want y'all to know we contributed to the state, we founded the state, we invented things in the state, and there's no reason why we should have these quality of life issues. We should be kind of living in gold at this point, drinking gold.
Are we going to get our reparations?
Oh yeah, if CJEC, California Black Power Network on the task, if we're all on the task, if all of us are on the task, not just a few, but all of us, we're going to get our reparations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing that with us. Dr. Kirby. All right.
Peace. Black Power.